Only 7% of Americans consider themselves very liberal, and probably fewer of them consider themselves to be woke. And so, when we talk about traditional,
what does that mean to you? Would you mind defining woke? Because it's come up a couple times, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So, I mean, woke is sort of the idea that this is going to be one of those moments that goes viral. I mean, woke is something that's very hard to define, and we've spent an entire chapter defining it. It is sort of the understanding that we need to totally reimagine and redo society in order to create hierarchies of oppression.
Bree Joy does an excellent job of exposing Mandel, so much so that Mandel's prediction, you all may remember, she made a prediction during her search for her definition of woke about part of her interview going viral. Well, somewhat of a prophecy that actually came through. This video went mega viral of Mandel not even being able to define woke by her own terms. It's not even like Bree Joy asked her, define it globally. She just said, what do you mean by the word? And she couldn't even do that. And of course, Mandel had to try to clean up the mess that she made, but it was kind of too late to do that. This did not stop her though from trying. And Michael picked up on that and dissected one of her tweets. Let's take a look at his dissection here. So this is Bethany S. Mandel, and she says a radical belief system suggesting that our institutions are built around discrimination and claiming that all disparity is a result of that discrimination. It seeks a radical definition of society in which equality of group result is the endpoint enforced by an angry mob, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Michael goes on, he says it's almost like she defines wokeness as the opposite of whiteness, and he inserts his corrections, a radical belief system suggesting that our institutions are not built around discrimination and claiming that all disparity is not a result of discrimination, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. People like Mandel and the far right have no concept of, nor do they really care about white supremacy and the impact that white supremacy has had on this nation. And I mean every single institution in this nation, every single pillar of this nation, be it social, political, economic, environmental, racial, you name it, it has been impacted by white supremacy. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, America, that is irrefutable. And if you refuse to come face to face with the truth, then you are in denial. Point blank, period. With an exclamation point and underlined and bold and put on a train. Not Norfolk Southern. Okay, that's just what it is. And besides her really watching the Bell Harriet interview, I have a book recommendation for this chick and others who don't get it. The title, How to Be Less Stupid About Race. And it's written by the great Dr. Crystal M. Fleming, who is a professor just doing the daggone thing. Yes, she is loving that book. Yeah. Now, an excerpt from Dr. Fleming's masterful book, she reviews and defines the complex history of white supremacy. And here are a few excerpts from her book. First, white supremacy is most fundamentally a system of power designed to channel material resources to people socially defined as white. Second, white supremacy is not just neo-Nazis and white nationalism. It's also the way our society has come to be structured such that political, economic, and other forms of capital are predominantly maintained by white elites. Again, this is an excerpt from Dr. Fleming's book. I encourage you all to read this book. She further writes, long before op-ed columnists and contemporary activists began using the term white supremacy, critical race scholars and radical progressives such as Derek Bell and Kimberly Crenshaw and Cornel West were leading the way with strident critiques of structural racism and its interconnectedness or interconnections with sexism, class oppression, and other forms of domination. Finally, beloveds, white supremacy is inextricably linked to other systems of domination. Jessica, your thoughts on how Dr. Fleming, I mean, she laying it out. She talking to people like they kindergartners. She breaking it down.
And I'm glad we brought it here on Unbossed. If there's one thing about Unbossed, you're gonna learn. And the thing about the Mandel situation, anybody who is critical of what it means to be woke, I think it's okay to be wrong. It's a good time to remind everybody that it's okay to get new information and adapt your view of the world and move forward. And even gracefully say, we had this phrase when I was growing up, nah, I'm bugging. And it's a really simple way to, without any hurt to your pride or ego, to say, you know what, I was wrong. And I have new information now and I'm gonna make better decisions. It's okay to be wrong and get new information and be a better actor in the world. There's nothing wrong with that, but our culture suggests that you should instead double down when you're wrong and stutter over your words and then later try and cope on Twitter. It would be a lot more graceful to just say, you know what? I have some more work to do in looking into this. I didn't understand your perspective on this.
It'd be a lot more graceful to just say, I was wrong. Mandel, are you woke yet?